One thing we cannot do and should not do is to go back to our old ways and say subsidize electricity, subsidize fertilizer, subsidize fuel, etc. Because that takes us back to where we were, and it is unsustainable. We don't have the money to do it. And to borrow money abroad and to put it into that kind of activity, you just end up in a debt crisis because you don't have the foreign exchange to earn the foreign exchange to pay that money back. So how do you address poverty? There's a short-term method, and that is these cash transfers. What was Samudri now is Aswesuma. In fact, we missed a trick. My colleague, Professor Shanta Devarajan, who was in this advisory committee, which I belong to, he said, get the Aswesuma done up front. Does two things. One, it will help people to cope with the austerity that is coming down the line, and it will also help to buy support for the reforms. But we didn't do that, and we now seem to be politicizing it all over again, and it's in a bit of a mess. So really we have to do that right. And Professor Dilani Gunawardena at Peradeniya has given a very clean, transparent process for determining eligibility. She says use the units of electricity consumed by a household. Now there have been disconnections, I know, but before the disconnections, 98% of the households were linked to the national grid. So you had a very transparent mechanism to determine who is eligible and not eligible. It was not taken, because I think whenever people want to politicize things and mess things up, they keep things as confused and as fuzzy as possible. And so we have now again gone back to a fuzzy way of trying to determine who gets these handouts or not, because clearly it's a very important means of having political patronage. And again, we've slipped back to the same mistake as far as I can see. We can do better in terms of targeting it in a transparent way. And the other thing is technology. The Indians, the Aadhaar scheme, they had a unique digital ID, and that transformed their social transfer programs. The leakages were reduced by 30-40%. And again, technology is resisted at every turn to keep things confused so that it can be manipulated. So these are the kind of things we need to address if we are to really get out of this situation. Because if you have a transparent process, use technology, have a unique digital ID, most people have a bank account in this country partly because of remittances, transfer the money from the government into the bank accounts using the unique ID,